There's an old lady named Barbara, and she loves taking care of the kids in our neighborhood, especially mine. My son Jackson loves Barbara. She's a nice older lady. She's in her 70s, and unfortunately she lost her child 20 years ago due to a drunk driver. So to help her to cope, she always helps to take care of all the kids in the neighborhood. She even turned her house into a daycare, but it didn't last long because each time the kids would go spend a day at Barbara's house, they will always wind up going missing. People first suspected Barbara had something to do with it, but I did all I could to prove them wrong. She was so good to my son. There was no way that this kind, elderly woman would harm children. But boy, was I wrong. One night, my son, who was the only kid spending time at Barbara's house, while the other parents in the neighborhood didn't trust Barbara, I was the only one that still had faith in her. But anyway, I had an emergency and I had to go somewhere. So I let my son stay over at Barbara's place while I go take care of that emergency. 5 hours later, I come back to the house and I walk a couple of blocks to her neighborhood. I knock on the door, but there was no response. I knocked again, but still no response. I noticed that her door was cracked open. I opened the door slowly, and the atmosphere there, inside of her house, felt off. It felt sinister. The air around me felt cold. It felt like the cold air was choking me. As I made my way around the house, I noticed there was a rotten meat smell. I walked it closer to the smell, and it got more stronger as I walked it into her room. I had to cover my nose because I could feel the bowels coming up through my stomach. When I got into Barbara's room, I saw something so terrifying, but I had to act quickly. My son was crying, and there I saw Barbara, but she looked completely different. She looked like a humanoid creature. I just don't know how to explain. Before I can even process what was going on, Barbara grabbed my son and she opened up her mouth so unnaturally wide, and with one bite, she ate my son. Despite me running over there quickly and stopping her, I was too late. I can hear her munching down on his bones and his flesh. She ate my son, and it's not fair. I was the one that was supposed to eat my son.
That greedy ass bitch.